Warrior Oracle. Okay, I'm gonna try this one. There's a little more peace and quiet. What do we have for the collective? Let's see. These old things. Let's do a Celtic cross. So we have the Five of Wands reverse. That's Saturn and Leo. That has to do with, actually, that has to do with struggle, obviously, but that's great power. So people with Saturn and Leo, or this could be somebody's birthday, or this could just be a conflict that's going on. But Saturn and Leo is talking about great power. This is somebody who has a destiny to be powerful. So this competition might not necessarily be aggressive or random or just a random act of violence. This competition might be something that's been going on for generations. So there's also, it's reversed. So this is probably somebody who's having a fall from power, or somebody who is not interested in having a conflict. But Saturn and Leo is about conflict for strength, and Saturn is about the strength of Saturn is about concentration, depth, spiritual power, great planning, extensive planning, discipline, of course, that goes along with manifesting plans. And Leo, of course, is about strength and inner wisdom, consciousness, guidance, leadership. Of course, there's the lower side of Leo, which is showing off, ego, attention seeking, and whatnot. So this could be that in reverse. Let's see what's crossing it. We have the Knight of Wands crossing the Five of Swords in reverse. So this could be somebody that you're having a fight with. Somebody who moves around very fast, is argumentative, very passionate. Sometimes talks before they think, or makes moves before they think. Doesn't think much for the consequences if this is a Knight of Wands in a negative light, because it's crossing it, and the Five of Wands is upside down. I'm assuming it's a negative light. This could be like a teenage person, or somebody who's very fiery spirited, or somebody who's kind of immature, or they're passionate and they drive forward on the positive side. And the Chariot as a foundation. This definitely could be something to do with we have the Five of Wands here, Saturn and Leo. So this is about something that is grounded or founded, something. And we have the Knight of Wands crossing it, which indicates movement. And then we have the Chariot that also indicates movement. Actually, funny thing, the Chariot is a Cancer card, and the Five of Wands is the first decan of Leo, which is on the Cancer cusp. So this is very interesting. This could be somebody who was born, if we were to single this out and say it's a person, this could be somebody who was born on the cusp of Cancer and Leo, which is like July 23rd to 27th, something like that. And then the Chariot symbolizes the subconscious. It's Cancer, it's a subconscious mind. The drive, thought. You see the right and the left here have white and black, or light and dark. So the subconscious mind is always reflecting the conscious mind and affecting the conscious mind, and the conscious mind is always affecting the subconscious mind and whatnot. That's how I see that. And of course you have the different elements or whatever. But also the Chariot has to do with moving forward. So you see that this is automatic movement. This is movement governed by the subconscious mind. And then you have this movement here by the Knight of Wands, which is governed by passion. So to me, this looks like this looks like a conflict that may be manifesting not only with the people around you, but also within yourself. You may have to do some meditation. This is also a symbol of meditation. You may have to do some meditation in order to change some attitudes or some habits that you have, or sit back and think before you move. Let's see what's going on in the past here. In the past, you have the Six of Wands reversed. So yeah, this is right next to the Five of Wands, the Six of Wands reversed. That could mean that maybe you did have a fall from grace in the past, and you're still, that's the issue here. There was a fall from grace from somebody, or somebody was tested and they did not pass the test, and so in the past maybe you felt defeated, or maybe you felt that some glory that you strive for, you were not able to achieve it. Now, the glory doesn't have to be glorious in everybody's eyes. What's glorious to you might not be glorious to me, and vice versa. But something that you were working for and that you achieved for, and that you were expecting to be successful in the eyes of the people around you, it didn't work out so well. And that may be because somebody was in competition with you, and somebody who's been in competition with you for a long time, and you just did not achieve that. Maybe this individual has been making sure you don't achieve this for a long time. Let's see what's overhead here. Queen of Wands. So on the mind is the Queen of Wands here. If we're thinking genderlessly, this could be very passionate, very passionate energy, very passionate thought energy. This is yin fire at its greatest. So this is like feminine fire at its greatest. Very creative, talkative energy. This could be could just represent passion, like the same passion here, going for what you want, going for what you're not necessarily what you want, but what you know. So I see that you probably feel less than, or if this is a person, if this is an actual person, this could be the person who you're thinking about, who maybe you did not have success with in the past. This is on your mind. But I'm going to say, to take the person out of it, this is a feminine fire, this is a feminine energy. So this is a creative energy. This is, maybe there are still some thoughts of how to achieve this goal that you've been struggling for a long time. So maybe you're still determined, even though in the past you did not achieve your goal. Maybe you were embarrassed a little, but you're persevering. And the Queen of Wands is also a persevering energy as well. It's very passionate. It's not easy to, it doesn't die down easy. It doesn't give up easily. Let's see what's headed in the future. Or if this is a person, maybe this is the person who, could have interfered with you, or could have been in competition with you, or maybe you were in competition over this person. Anyway, it looks as if you're still driving forward. It's the foundation of something you're moving forward with. You failed in the past, but you still have passionate thoughts about it in the future. But let's see what the future holds here. So there's the Two of Pentacles. This is about, Pentacles is about resources, friends, money, of course, health. So, and it's reversed. So when it's upright, deals with stilling thoughts. Some people say it, because obviously you see the image looks like somebody is juggling coins. So they say, you're juggling this, you're juggling that. In this case, you would be juggling resources. But also we have to look at the number 2. And 2 represents wisdom and intuition. So this could be, some intuition that you haven't received, or actually this is the future. So you're probably having some issue with resources and knowing what to do with your resources. In this case, I would say those resources are not necessarily money, but friends, or what you need. Or you're going to have issues in the future with resources, probably. You need to still your thoughts and figure out, what you need to do in order to secure this, to turn this Five of Wands upright. So in the future, I would say that there's probably going to be issues with resources. That could be issues with your friends, issues with health, or issues with money. But what you need to do is you need to still your thoughts. Right here, with this being upside down, is showing that you're not stilling your thoughts. When I say still your thoughts, I mean, allow wisdom to speak. Don't always use your mind and your intellect to solve all of your problems. Sometimes you have to quiet your mind, and just quietly observe everything around you. And sometimes answers will just come to you. As a matter of fact, most of the time the answers are already there in front of your face. But if you don't still your mind, if you let your mind chatter, you think about this, you think about that, but this person says it goes this way, this star says this song, this movie, my culture, we do things this way. Those things are all habitual, in our subconscious mind. Those are all, how do you say, conditioned patterns. So we're trying not to, when we're in the number 2, we're trying not to condition ourselves. We're trying to move beyond our conditioning. We can see the conditioning, but we don't identify with that conditioning, so that what's in front of us can actually reveal itself, or we can actually see what's in front of our face. Sometimes our conditioning, or our, how we've been raised, and who we think we are, and what we think we're feeling when we feel, and all these things, these cloud our judgment. So with this Two of Pentacles in reverse, I see that in the future, your judgment may be clouded, your vision may be clouded, your perception of your friends, of your resources, of your finances will probably be clouded. Doesn't look like that's going to really deter you from your path, though. Looks like you'll be on your path. You've been on it for a long time. You've been struggling with it for a long time, and somebody's been fighting you for a long time. And you've been dealing with this so-called defeat for a long time. And then you have these passionate thoughts, or this passionate woman. So don't allow this passion, even though you're persevering, but don't allow this passion in your mind to blind you. Have faith. And I'm not talking about faith like just saying I believe. You know what you know. Sometimes we don't always go over everything that we know, so we forget what we know at times. Sit down, take a deep breath, meditate, or what you have to do, and just remember yourself, who you were before the situation, and who you are and what you know. And a lot of the times the answers will just reveal themselves. When we go through situations in life, we get knocked out of our higher self back into our lower animal self, our emotional self, our subconscious mind, and we start to do conditionings. And remind you, our conditionings are not just ours. We get conditionings from our parents. It's in our DNA, from their parents and from their parents. So we have to deal with generations of conditioning, ancestral conditioning. So that's what they say, breaking ancestral curses. It's really just sitting down and clearing your thoughts and allowing what you know to manifest, so that you can move with faith with what you already know. Right? So that's the future look there. That was long. Okay, I want to shuffle this again. I was trying to make this video short, but make the next one short. Alright, let's do the stuff. The Emperor reverse. I think that this deck is just reversal, so everything's coming in reverse, but that's fine. So the Emperor in reverse. Yeah, you're definitely not feeling that you're in a ruling situation, or if this could be an individual, this could be like an Aries, or somebody with a life path number 4, or even with a life path number 22. This could be a master builder. Um, yeah. So you could be out of balance. The Emperor is the all four kings together, meaning all four elements. The yang aspect of all four elements together. So maybe you're not in balance. Like what looks like is out of balance here. Obviously, is fire. This is fire, and this is earth. So you're probably not planning enough, or your resources. You're not paying attention to your resources, meaning friends, family, and money, of course. Or fire, you're either too passionate and unable to see, your passion is blinding you, or you're not passionate enough. Water, it looks like you're working on it. You're working on balancing your fire. Water seems to be in balance. Anyway, so the Emperor controls the realm. He's the king of kings. He tells the other kings what to do, of course. He masters all four elements. So each king is a master of his element, but the Emperor is the master of all four. And you're in reverse there. So you're probably feeling that you're not doing a good job of or you don't know how to balance things out. And this have the sun reversed here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this deck is upside down. So the sun is, a bright future. Everything's looking bright and whatnot. Maybe it's not so bright right now. And that's not what you see. I see that's what people around you are thinking. Maybe things are not as bright for you now because they do have the perception that you're out of balance. Yeah. So keep your eyes open for a caring, kind gesture. You're gonna have a blessing from the universe. Try not to let your imbalances, your negative characteristics, your inability to still your thought, don't act habitually when this gift from the universe, this Ace of Cups, comes to you. It'll be a gift in the form of maybe a vision. See this eye here, the moon and water all represent meditation. This could also be love, of course. But don't allow your conditionings, water, to dictate your character, your direction. The sun, right? And the Emperor, right? Water is only one of your elements. Don't let it overthrow you. Don't become too emotional, and don't let your habits, your conditionings stop you from. Well, the point here is that you need to have clear vision. See this eye here? I don't know if you can see that. You need to have clear vision. So, and you're going to get a gift from the universe, from God. It's going to be a presentation of a new situation, of a new scenario that will help you, with your subconscious mind, emotionally, that it could even be love. So, watch out for that. When if you know that you're doing something wrong, you know that you have bad habits that are messing up, that have caused your downfall, stay away from that. And now when you have these water signs and these, this fall from grace, you have two cards that could suggest fall from grace. This is a battle upside down. That's Saturn and Leo. And then you have, I believe this is the Six of Wands is a very nice card. I'm not sure what deacon that is. Well, it's the second deacon of Leo, but I'm not sure what planet governs that deacon. Oops. But there are two cards that represent a downfall. So don't allow your don't allow your conditionings, to block your victory, because of course you still have victory on your mind. Or there's a woman that's trying to have victory over you, maybe, or a situation. And the Ten of Swords reversed. So yeah, So that's the outcome. And the Ten of Swords is, backstabbing, heartbreak, disappointment, um, you know, just the worst possible situation, but it's in reverse. So it shows that things are getting better. It's not going to be so bad. It's not going to be so depressing. You know, maybe somebody's not going to backstab you anymore. So this person could be easing up, or the situation just may be changing, so that you won't experience the Ten of Swords. Or the Ten of Swords, if you do experience it, you'll experience it as an ending. Not as something as so traumatic or dramatic. There's just less of the energy of the Ten of Swords there. Right. Yeah, this one got too long. I'm going to end this one here. Well, I don't want to end it abruptly just because I'm upset that it's long. So let me give a little more guidance here. Since we were talking about resources in the future, see if I can help instead of just saying what I see. So we're talking about resources. I'm going to use this career and life oracle and see if I can give you guys some guidance. Tell me about this Two of Pentacles first. The future. Plan for the future while living in the present. You are always supported by spirit. Your psychic abilities can bring you prosperity. So exactly what I was saying. Plan for the future by living in the present. You are always supported by spirit. See that in the Chariot? What's under the Chariot? The wheels, right? There. What's under the Chariot? The wheels, right? It's two lines. You're always supported by spirit. She's supported in the Chariot. Your psychic abilities can bring you prosperity. Well, how do we develop our psychic abilities? How do we nurture our psychic abilities? How do we control our psyche? By controlling our subconscious mind through breathing exercises and meditation. Affirmations, different techniques to control our psyche. Different techniques to control our psyche, to control the four elements. So, breathe deep, do your yoga, do your exercise, drink water, get your cardio and, do a little weightlifting, do whatever you can do to get your body together, and so that your mind will be together, so that when this situation presents itself, this Ace of Cups here, you will not be depressed or upset or stabbed in the back, or will not be misfortunate. Let's see. I'm gonna add a little more there. I want to see what's going on with that Ten of Swords reverse. Tell me about the Ten of Swords reverse. I really didn't want to go this long, but here we are. Ten of Swords reverse. Tell me about this Ten of Swords reverse here. Let's see. I'll use this vice versa deck. Ten of Swords reverse. Tell me about the Ten of Swords reverse. We have, and I just turned the card upright. What is this? This looks like the Ace of Cups again. So the Ace of Cups reversed. So there could be a new beginning that's going to start, that's going to upset you. But let me, or let's see. Two of Swords reverse. Lack of wisdom. lack of intuition. And the Chariot. And the Chariot. So this is definitely right here. There's a Chariot again. You can see that. Here's the Chariot again. The back of the Chariot. So definitely suggest moving on, moving forward. You've already moved forward. So something you've already moved forward with. There's a lack of wisdom, and there was probably a lack of love, or maybe the universe wasn't supporting you, or you were not emotionally ready, or you were not initiated. You didn't know what you were doing, or you were not probably not emotionally ready, or not initiated, and there was an upset. Well, this is the upset, but due to lack of wisdom, you're probably just moving on. To me, this looks like moving on. It's not the eight of cups, but it just reminds me of you just moving on from the situation because you're done with it. Yeah, this is an ending. You're done. But this is not an ending like, oh, I got stabbed in the back 10 times. This is upside down. So you're probably the one that's causing that stab in the back feeling, maybe. Or maybe that upset feeling or disappointed. You're probably disappointing somebody by moving on. But I don't think that you're moving on from them, because this is not the Eight of Cups. I think you just continue moving even though you're going through some upset. So you're going through a lot here. You're going through mental issues, you're going through emotional issues, you're going through issues with your resources, but you are persevering, and you are passionate about what you want to achieve. But in the future, you need to settle yourself. Remember, if you want this situation with your resources in the future to work out, you need to, when I see psychic abilities, it just means manage your psyche, manage your psychological, because psychic things are natural. I mean, breath, the heartbeat is natural, is psychic. The nerves are electric. Psychic is natural, kind of. So don't even worry about all of that, right? It happens naturally. Just breathe and manage your psyche, your psychological state. Breathe, exercise, whatever you have to do to make yourself feel comfortable, so that you can deal with the situations that come. Because there's going to be something that comes, and you want it to be not so upsetting. So this Two of Swords reverse usually represents, unwise words, or lack of intuition, or lack of thinking, lack of stilling the thought. Or making bad choices because you lack faith. So, you may be upset in the future over something might not turn out the way you want, but you'll keep moving, you'll move forward, you'll persist. So it won't be so bad. Yeah, I'm closing this one out.